if you're a financial advisor and you're still trying to figure out what works for you because you've jumped from marketing tactic to agency to coach to help you market your services, then this video is for you, because we see it all the time with our clients in how they've built their business off of referrals, but it leads to great months sometimes, and then 3-4 months where they don't have any new business. And then when they try to solve it, they look around and all they see is a bunch of gurus and grifters on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram trying to get their business. And then when you find somebody that seems legit, you go through this extensive process where you have to have compliance, sign off on everything, which leads to gridlock and waiting for hours, if not days, to get an approval just for you to be able to post one headline. Well, we found a compliant way for registered investment advisors and broker dealers to be able to market their services to their entire total addressable market. And I'm going to be walking you through in this video how Rory and Ken made $400,000 in the last year and booked 184 sales calls using this system. So let's dive into the video. Welcome everybody. Today going to be interviewing Ken and Rory about exactly how they added $400,000 in the past year to their financial services firm in top line revenue. So Rory, Ken, welcome.
Thank you, Scott.
Good afternoon.
Talk to us a bit more about where you were before working with us.
So before we started working with you guys, we were doing a lot of cold calling and referral meetings, averaging 2 to 3 meetings a month of new clients, and really spending a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money on leads and lead services, and really trial and error, mostly error.
What were some of the things that you had tried? Like, what were some of those?
So we were using an annuity lead system that we were paying a couple $100 a month for. That we got one client out of that, so I guess we broke even. We were using what was the name of the lead system?
Well, Planswell, which is
we tried Planswell, which was a Canadian-based financial planning lead system. That one probably was the worst of all the ones we did.
It was. We did not Advisor Stream.
Smart Asset,
which was
Smart Asset wasn't bad. It just wasn't good enough. Like the amount you had to pay for it to actually give you the right type of leads was really painful. And then what was the lead system?
ZoomInfo.
Yeah, that's it. ZoomInfo. And ZoomInfo is great at getting you the leads themselves, but you still had to call them all, so you were really cold calling through that.
Getting started with QS, what did you like about the system?
What we liked the idea of being able to turn a cold lead into a warm lead by inviting them to the webinar, meaning that when they actually were going to sit down and have a conversation with us, they already had some idea of what we do.
Yeah, so, on top of that, so getting leads is great, right? So you pay for leads, turning them into clients is another story. I think what we really liked about it is you provided us with a process. I mean, it wasn't just the webinar. You taught us how to, it's the copyright. It was how to get good leads. I mean, I think we got some really good leads through, I believe, Atlas, Rory? Is that?
Finding leads and
Atlas, anyway.
Apollo.
I'm sorry.
They're both Greek.
Atlas, Apollo. Yes, I get mixed up in the Greeks. But no, I think it's the process. It was the overall, just putting it all together, having access to technology people, to copyright, to strategy, and working with all of them to, to build the webinar, which I mean ultimately it comes down to compliance in our industry, but it was a process that was repeatable. It was it works, it's repeatable, better than just paying for leads.
That's great. Well, and I really appreciate you saying that. Let's talk about the skeletons in the closet. What didn't you like about the system?
Again, trial and error. Like,
it's a lot to learn.
Because I don't know what you guys do now with AI, but prior to that, us actually having to design the webinar, like using PowerPoint, creating the slides and that kind of stuff was painful for two finance people because we're not creative, and we basically had to figure out how to create PowerPoint presentations, which is not us. So I would say that was probably the most painful thing when we started. And also the unknown, paying 20,000 plus and hoping that it works and then sitting back and just waiting. So I guess those were the two key pain points.
And then let's talk about that. Like, what were your results?
So we put in 20,000 plus the all the technology fees and all that kind of stuff, Google and Go High Level and all that other stuff. So I don't know what that total ended up being, but in the matter of about 8 or 9 months, we got back probably, I would say we 10x'd it in about 8 months.
In 8 months, you 10x your investment.
Yeah, I believe we 10x'd it, and then we 20x'd it probably by month 13 or 14.
Excellent. And so what has been the total revenue to date?
It's over 400,000. I would have to go calculate it all again, but that being said, and if we put it into perspective, we also have things that are in underwriting, cases that we're hopefully closing in the next month or two that'll add another 50 to 100,000 to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been running your business off of referrals, where some months are great, then you have 3-4 months where nothing new comes in, and you want a no bullshit way to actually market your business that's been proven by financial advisors like Rory, Ken, Jason, among others, then go ahead, click the link in the description, schedule a time, find a time, speak with our team, and we'll walk you through a step-by-step strategy playbook that will work for your practice. And we'll also let you know what's compliant, what isn't compliant. And again, not legal advice, but based on our experience, what works for most compliant department, what works for compliance departments and what doesn't. And so the worst thing that can happen is that you walk away a little bit smarter and you know exactly what type of strategy will work for your market. So go ahead, click the link in the description, find a time, select a time, and we'll speak to you soon. Cheers. So adding another 50 to 100,000 in the next couple months. So that'll put it at 450 to 500. What were some of the doubts that you had during the process? And then how did you overcome
So
them?
Ken's my Debbie Downer. Go ahead. What were our doubts?
That's nice. What were the doubts? The doubts come in when when you've thrown money at so many things that didn't work. That's the doubt. We don't know you that well, right? You're getting calls from a
At
company.
all.
At all. I mean, you put a calendar invite, cold calendar invite on Rory's calendar. We showed up. We were impressed. We're like, this is pretty cool. We got on the phone with Ryan, who is he still in Toronto? No, I thought he was in Toronto. Whatever. Ryan was great. It took some time, and we just decided, you know what? We felt like you're going to get us there. We felt like if we're going to spend $20,000, you're going to take the time to get us there. I will say, I think Rory's numbers are a little off. I think it took us a little longer to get to the 10 and 20x. But I also, we're in the financial industry with tons of compliance. We couldn't get off and running as quickly as most companies can. So, which we knew all along. But I will say, yeah, no, I think it took us a little longer to get to that 10 than what you promised. But I will say that, before we got, I mean, you've continued to work with us and, help us along the way, which is you guys fulfilled every promise you offered, in that
Amazing.
that contract, whatever you want to call it.
I would say
in our partnership.
I don't know if working with somebody else would have been as powerful for us, but working with you specifically was powerful for us.
So what were some of the biggest takeaways that you had during the process? Like, what were the biggest things that you learned as financial services business owners into your marketing, so that way we can make this the biggest value add to the listeners?
Well, we learned that really, really high-end people actually show up for webinars that we don't expect them to. And that was a shocker to us. Like, having people book appointments on our calendar and then actually meeting them and being like, wait, this person is worth 20, 30, $100 million was kind of shocking to us, that they showed up for a webinar and booked a meeting with us.
We also, I agree with Rory, and also we got far less complaints than, I mean, I'll talk for myself, than I ever expected. Like, cold calendar invites was a new thing to me. I never really heard of that before until we got yours. And I was just like, this is, how many complaints are we going to get? This can't work. And it does work. It does work. I mean, we got a few complaints.
They were funny. A lot of the complaints.
Most of the complaints were funny. We got some people that, troll us on webinars a couple of times. A lot less than I ever expected. I mean, of the million plus people we've invited, we got probably could count on less than 2 hands how many complaints or people trolled us, that was a surprise to me.
And the fact that while they were trolling us, other people didn't jump off the webinar based on the trolling.
Right. They were happy to get the information. They didn't care that they were cold invited on their calendar just because someone else was, complaining about it. I think the bottom line from that is I think people want information. If they like the content that they're expecting, they're okay with how they get to it.
And what would you gentlemen recommend for somebody that's on the fence, who's watching this, who's having doubts or second thoughts about joining and using this system? What would you say?
So, if it's a finance person, I would say just make sure you go through the right steps from a compliance standpoint. But other than that, you're better off jumping in and doing it, because it's actually made our presentation skills so much better, even when we're not doing webinars. Meaning, like, when we're doing our client meetings, I think we are better now than we've ever been, thanks to the system.
And outside the financial industry, it's mostly B2B. I would say that it's worth the investment. The investment is the outcome is going to far surpass what you put into it. If you do all the right things, you have to follow the process. But again, you guys are great at making sure people follow the process, following up, forcing people to maybe get them comfortable and
get a virtual assistant.
Yes, get a virtual assistant.
Awesome. And so there's a couple things in there that you really learned. I mean, number one is using talent, getting leverage from talent, improving your presentation skills. What was the other thing that you learned that surprised you?
Not sure. What else surprised us?
The nerves go away really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised. I mean, I was surprised it worked. I was surprised that cold calendar invites work. I was surprised at the number of people that based just with the copyright and all those emails, all the invites going. I was surprised by the number of people showing up. for a unsolicited financial business estate planning conversation.
And actually, one last thing. So, what would you say your monthly revenue was? What was your monthly revenue before implementing this cold calendar webinar system versus what it's at today?
From a consistency standpoint, I would say that the revenue was 20 to 25,000 a month on average, and now it's closer to 60, 65 on average.
Amazing. So more than double. Cool. Well, that's epic. Glad that we could make that contribution to y'all's business. Thanks again, gentlemen, for hopping on today, sharing your experience, sharing everything that you learned, so that we can help other folks in the financial services industry achieve the same level of results.
Awesome.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Cool. See y'all on the next one.
Take care.
If you want to see our battle tested method for how we've made financial advisors millions of dollars a year using webinars, click that video.